Hello, good morning. Well, it's early on Saturday morning, which is Shabbat, and that's great. Today's the great day of protection and holiness, peace, calm, joy. You know why? Because this is a holy day, and uh, I'll explain more about why later. But it is a holy day, as my teacher Rob Berg taught me. And he was such a great rabbi and teacher and human being that he could take the loftiest of subjects and make it, speak it in plain language that uh, people who don't speak with a forked tongue can understand. I'll talk more about speaking with a forked tongue later too. But he told me that Shabbat is the devil's day off. There is no satanic influence on a holy day like Shabbat, of which there are no days like Shabbat, but this is the day of days. And in Judaism, we read a different portion of Torah every week, and it's funny how, and we do it every year at the same time because we follow a calendar that repeats, you know. The same things happen every year in the same month. But that's like a really deep insight that you have to cultivate, for proof, because you can't do anything unless you can prove it. If you believe things that you can't prove, you should let go of them because they have to be proven. But that's why science is so important and is correcting itself too. But we'll talk about science in another video. Anyway, today is a day free of negativity, of all sorts of negativity. And that means in the human body, because Torah is about the workings of the human body and the cosmos. It's not just it's not just tribal legends or myths. It's a coded manifesto that tells you how to think in infinite leaps and bounds beyond the hedge of mind control that's been put on you by your leaders. And some of your leaders know, but most don't, because they're not really leaders, they're actors. But I'm telling you these things because today is Shabbat, and so I am able to speak as an observant Jewish woman, Sephardic Jew. I'm able to speak freely and know that none of my words and none of what I'm saying can be infected with any sort of negativity, because I'm speaking from a wonderful place of feeling great joy, great connection, peacefulness, and goodwill. Not just will, but goodwill towards all human beings, my fellows and sisters out there. There's no separation between us by race, by, because you got, let's take dark-skinned people. A lot of them are really rich. And that makes their lives different from those who are really poor. Because the truth is, it's just about class. And they are diverting you from talking about that by replacing it with race or other things like that, especially race or all the other parts of identity politics, which are not people who think that way, the identity politics, social justice warriors, they have not connected their own consciousness. They are stuck on self-righteousness and outrage, and they love to be provoked to those two things, and they're easy to provoke. And they're being provoked and activated because that's all they know of life. And, you know, I do pray for them. I pray for all the stupid people. Stupid isn't even the right word, but it's not dumb. Stupid means you just don't know something yet, to me. It doesn't mean you can never learn or ever change, because I changed, and I want to talk about that with you. I used to be really far left. I ran for president in 2012 on a socialist platform. I was raised left my whole life, and for a while, it answered the questions I had. My father was left, my grandfather was left, their grandparents were left, all the way back to the overthrow of the Tsar. They were Lithuanian and Russian, and they participated in those revolutions, so they were socialists. And they came here to America, and they passed away. I hate to say thankfully, because I miss them, but they passed away before they saw the great co-optation and destruction of socialism by the left of today, which is really neoliberal. It has nothing to do with profit sharing, labor rights, you know, and the discussion of class. And so they just bullshitted it all up and trotted it out to appeal to people's lowest chakra, which is, well, we'll talk about that later and why we're taking in breath to open those chakras that have been closed, starting with the one right up here that's been closed. We're going to open it. Now, they call that the third eye, but it's actually an inward eye, a spiritual eye, and they've closed it up. And but luckily, Torah teaches us that there is a way to open it, and here's how you do it. When you hear a word spoken that makes the hairs on your arm stand, that means you're opening to something other than narrative bullshit. You're opening to some other kind of connection that you feel in the flesh. A lot of people get the goose bumps when I say the word Yerushalayim. Jerusalem. If you're one of those people that the hair stood on your arms when I said that word, then I don't care what you look like or what neighborhood you come from or nothing else. I don't care who your parents were even. Because we all have a common ancestor, and, you know, it was an ape. I'm weird about evolution when I think about it, because that's why I love that movie Planet of the Apes, because they say that we evolved from apes, but I truly believe it's the other way around. I do believe that apes evolved from humans. And that's why I love that movie, because it is talking, that whole series, Planet of the Apes, is about artificial intelligence, and that's the age we're living in, where facts don't matter and accusation without proof is the norm, which, according to history, is also called a witch burning. You know, some people on the right call it a witch hunt, but it's not just a witch hunt, it's a witch burning. Please note that. I'm saying all these things to you on Shabbat because, you know, I've been up most of the night studying, and I'm trying to connect dots that previously I don't think are connected in our culture and need to be. The reason I know is because I went through that very same process. I went through so many processes, I've never even talked about it. But my process or journey of leaving the left, I documented pretty much in my movie, Roseanne for President. But then we got to the problem of editing, and that became a problem because I wanted my speeches and the things I said to actually be in the movie, and I was outvoted by people who said it was more about when I farted and smoked pot and stuff. I still love those people, whatever, they're young. Kind of, I just gave up on hope for the young people. But I do have hope for their kids, because I know their kids have seen both sides of it now. So they're ready to deal. And I'm their grandma. So I want you to make the connection between turning intelligence into speech that causes the hairs on your arms to stand up. Because what you're doing there is you're affecting matter itself in the human body. And that is why words are so important. And I want to talk more about my words, particularly my tweet, in the next video I do, if I think of it, because I'm reading a lot. And also got to water my lawn and check on my tomatoes. Man, I love tomatoes. I'm growing orange ones out of heirloom seeds. It's very cool. I also got Brazilian tree nuts, and those are pure, like the macadamia nut, pure protein that could replace cheeseburger farming, and then we wouldn't have no global warming. Because we gotta actually make things happen now and stop arguing about them and make them happen, because our leaders ain't never going to do it. They're stealing our money for their studies, and corporations and groups and NGOs. They're stealing our money, both of them. So we need to take the steps necessary to get our money back and build a web of life for ourselves and the entire planet and our grandkids. And your grandkids, all of them. Because, there's only one grandchild on this planet. There's only one to a grandmother. That's the mentality and the mental state you need to be in on Shabbat, to have a very, very long view into the future, so long that it brings you back to yesterday. Time travel. That's another thing Torah is about, and I'll talk about that later. You can ask me questions about Torah here, and I'll talk about them. Don't preach to me, though. Honey, I've been there, done that. I done it all. I got it all. I don't need to segregate and demographicize it. It's just truth. So let's talk about truth on Shabbat. The truth that our strongest power here on earth is our love for God, ourselves, our families, and our fellow beings, animal and human. Especially apes. Because without the apes, the great apes, whoa, man. That's going to kind of disprove the whole point of evolution. Stupid.